Everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I am going to continue on in my series for the celebration projects that I'm doing. Before I do, a couple of announcement kind of things. First, when September ends, then celebration ends, and some of the celebration stuff is while supplies last. But this card reminds me to tell you that this month my free gift with purchase is the lattice and the wink of Stella. So you can go to my website to get the details on how to get those. You need to use the host code, and then you can get both or one depending on what you spend. So you can see the paper lattices on here and how I use the wink of Stella. Also, this card reminds me that by the time this video posts, you will just have a day or two left to register for my online cloche class. So this uses the Sweets and Treats and the cloche, which are both the sets that we're using in that online class. You can get just the videos, just the card supplies, or the full kit. If you get the full kit, then you also get a bonus project. Everybody will get the video for the bonus project, but this is a glass and ceramic cloche that I got from Target. So those of you that get the full kit will also get this actual glass cloche, so you can follow along and make the bonus project. Then registration has also opened for my online fall retreat. So complete details are on my website. These are the bundles that will be focused on. Even though these two are Christmas ones, you can see how you can easily make them into fall. These are not projects that we will be doing at the retreat. The retreat focuses on specialty paper. But these are cards that are already on my channel if you're interested in seeing about those bundles. All of that information for the retreat is on my website and in my email. Super fun, so you'll want to join in on that. And you don't have to be, since it's online, you don't have to be there the weekend that it happens. The videos post from a Friday afternoon through a Sunday afternoon for all 12 projects. So complete video walkthroughs, you get a PDF. But if you can't make it that weekend, you can just come back in March or next April or whenever it works for you. So you don't have to be available that weekend. So I'm continuing on with celebration. Like I said, it ends September 30th. So for this project, I am using both the Counting Sheep stamp set and the sheep dies. So if you spend $100, then you can get both of these for free. They're both free with a $50 purchase. So a $100 purchase gets you both of them. So the card I'm going to do is actually one that we will be making at my camp. So I did it once and then it took too long because we can't take super long to color, and I didn't imagine it was going to take as long to color as it did. So the one I'm going to do for you now, we're going to switch it up a little bit, and then I'm going to show you both, because if you have time, then you could take a little bit longer to color. So here's this stamp set, and then the dies come with like a fence and a balloon and clouds and a sun, so other pieces that go. And then it also comes with the 3 dies that will cut these sheep out. I'm not using them. Again, it's a time factor. When I have a camp project and they're making 6 projects in a couple of hours, we don't have a ton of time to spend. But it is a fun fold, which I'm sure some of you, it brought you here because everybody likes to watch a good fun fold video. So let me show you. This was an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So the card does take 1 full sheet. So what you do, I'm gonna put it back together so you can see. I cut this at 9. So then you have this scrap. So you can see that if I wanted to do this sheep, stamp this sheep and cut them out, you could easily use this piece. Again, time factor for us at camp. So then you take this piece here and you flip it so you can cut this to be 5.5. So this is now 5.5, which is standard card width by 9, which is not standard, but that's what we need to do. And then this is just the leftover piece. So whatever that is leftover from that, I just made this 5.5, and then this is the bit. So you're going to take these two, and then you are going to use your paper scorer, and you're going to score it. And if you do my Try It classes, you know I don't like math. And I don't like to put the arm out, because if you could see my desk, this is literally all the room I have left. Because I have been doing both filming camp projects, getting camp projects ready, and my desk has no more room. So I'm going to put it here at 3. And then if you have room and you can put your arm out, you can score it at 6. Or you can be like me and just turn it back around and do it at 3 again. So I've just scored, it's still 3 and 6, but I just did it that way because it's easier to fit on my table. So now we have 3 sections, and then you're gonna do the exact same thing on your little strip. So put it in at 3, and then either 6 or flip it around and do 3 again. So here we go for that one. So that's all the super easy cuts for this. Then you're going to take this, and it does help if you have a bone folder, because then you can get your ends nice and, or your folds nice and crisp. So you're going to fold this one back and then this one under. And then just take your bone folder and press those so they stay nice and flat. So we've got this one. And then we're going to do the same for this one. Just make it be a Z. Whenever you do these, if the first time you do it and you press them down the wrong way, it doesn't matter, because when you flip them back over like this, then it just helps the fold be more. So we're going to work with this, and it's going to end up being, so you can see this is not standard. So you're going to take a standard side card when we do it, and you're going to pull this to there, and then that makes it be standard width at 4 1/4. But we'll do that when we are done. So I'm going to take my blending brush, and I am just going to grab a Stamparatus plate. So this is the part that I did all this with blends before, and I'm going to switch it to use the blending brushes, which I didn't really want to use blending brushes because when you are doing an in-person project, they're already using blending brushes on one of the Beautifully Penned, if you've seen that. So I kind of wanted to use something different, but as it stands, this is going to be a whole lot faster than using the blends. So I am just adding some sky, and this is Balmy Blue. When I used my blends, I used a mix of Balmy Blue and Pool Party. It's a stronger color with the blends. So I've got that. And then for this, we need to go ahead and put our sheep on here so we know where we want to do the blending brush. So there's 3 sheep and 3 panels. And they do have a black pad. Here it is. So take your memento pad. And there's 2 sheep that are kind of jumping up, and one that is walking flat. So I just did them, so the 2 here on either panel where the jumping up, and the one that's just walking is here. You can do it either way. And then there is a stamp that says, "It's your birthday." And these are all stuck on for camp, so I'm just doing them the way that they're on the block. So it says, "So glad it's your birthday." So done with that one. And then here's our little sheep that walks, it's just walking flat. Put her right here. And then we have one more little jumping sheep. And I just added her right here. She's more designed to jump over the fence that we have, but I have more things that I need to be held in their hands. So she's up so she can hold on to something. Now we can finish putting this on, but I needed to know where the color, where not to put sky, because obviously you don't want blue sheep. So just take this. And this is a million times faster than the blends. The blends have a more of a cartoony look. I think this is a little bit more artistic, but both of them work fine. So use whichever you have, or try them both like me, and then decide which ones you like better if you're going to mass produce the cards. So get our sky, and I don't want any bands of white down there. So I'm going to take this down to where it's going to meet our grass. And then now that I have my birthday thing over here, I'm going to add a little bit more. So there we have our sky. I need to go a little bit lower, I think. With the blends, I was able to kind of lighten it up. So let's just kind of clean our brush off in this middle section again so we don't have white. There we go. Now I have pear pizzazz. And I literally have no place to put these things. You think I'm joking. If you could see my area. Take our pear and do the same thing. And don't worry about this being a little bit splotchy because we're going to put some die cut fences over the top and it'll cover it up. And we're going to add some stamping. So there, now you can see how we have a sky and some ground. Again, you don't want to get our sheep colored. So try to just go around them. It's got that. So we're going to go from pear to the deeper shade of pear, which would be Old Olive. And then there's a little grass stamp that comes in. Here it is. The set. So we're going to stamp this in olive. Go ahead and move this out of the way. And for this, you can just add as many little grasses as you want. So I'm going to do them and then I'll fast forward this bit of the video. Okay, so I'm just finishing these up. You just want to have more than what you think you need because once you put the fence on, it kind of covers them up. So now we're going to go back to our sheep and give her just a little bit of accent. When you do the blending brushes, it would be easy to do them and pop them up so they're not flat, but I'm going to go ahead and just do it this way. So I have dark balmy blue, and I'm just going to use the bullet tip just on these two that have their eyes facing and just give a little dot so she has a tiny bit of blue eyes. And then I have my light smoky slate. And I'm going to do her feet. And her feet, I'm not going to blend. I'm just going to color these straight in. And then I'm going to take it and just kind of lightly touch on these places where the Stampin' Up! Artists have said this is where there would be some shading. I'm going to let them help me know how to color. And then just kind of on her snout, just add a little bit of color. So you can see it's very minimal, the color that we're doing. Because we want, in just a second when we add the accents, I really wanted those to be the focal point of our card. So just that little bit of color, and now take your color lifter and we're going to use it as a blender. So everywhere where you have just a straight line, just blend that out, and it'll make this smoky slate that's light even be lighter. And it gets rid of all of the little brush tips, which I will put a close-up picture on my website of the coloring, and then you'll be able to see it a little bit better. I like when I use the color lifter to kind of go through once, and it kind of dampens it all. And then when you go back the second time, it's all ready and the paper's wet, and you can see how much faster it moves. So that's all the coloring that we need. So now I'm going to take our felt, and this can be found in our holiday catalog. It's in the stocking suite with the animals, and it is called Jolly Felt. So it comes in white, and then Old Olive, Bumblebee, and Real Red. So you can see I've already cut them out. In my upcoming retreat, it's on specialty papers, and I'm going to try to use the felt on at least one of the projects. So I also have a piece of soft suede, and I've already cut 2 fences out, so I didn't have to do that here. So you need a fence. And all of these dies are from the free sheep dies. So really, now that I've taken the blends away, this is very minimal in supplies. And then there's 2 clouds, so put that on the white. There's a balloon, so I'm gonna put it on the red. And the felt cuts beautifully with our die cut machine. There's a little flag. That's why my jumping sheep needed to be up so she could hold it. And then there is a sunshine. So now you can see these fun pieces that have different texture, because it's very rare that we put felt on a card. I wanted those to really be the star of the show and to really shine on the card. So that's why everything else I kind of kept minimal. Now it does make more noise because it's cutting through the felt down into that thing. Don't worry about it. It's not going to do anything to your machine. And I've already cut these out, so those are good. Just gonna leave them here as we need them. I did want to show you that I did stamp my original intent was to have the sheep be fuzzy, because you know, fuzzy sheep, but for filming purposes, in real life, she looks decent, but I knew that it was going to get lost on the camera. So sometimes when I make things, I switch it because I know if you can't see it, you're going to think that doesn't look great, and it's not that you can't see it. And I almost went back and added her to the Stamparatus, because if you could stamp her 2 or 3 times, then she would get darker. But again, it was an issue of time for my stamp camp. Let's take this back over here. And then I did use fine tip glue. And we'll start with the sun. And I'll get, again, some close-up pictures because it does get the stitching. Can you see that stitching? So let's add this down here. The glue will soak through, so you want to be careful and kind of just let it all lay here until we're finished. Then grab one of your clouds. And put it up here. There's no stitching on the cloud. And then that panel, we're just going to let it be the I'm so glad it's your birthday. And then let's go down here. Now with these that have the little strings on the felt, you know, felt tears super easy. So be really careful when you take it out of there. And then I added some glue to the big part of whatever I was doing and put that on. And then just kind of moved it and added some glue to her hand to catch that string. And then do the same thing over here with the flag. Again, some glue on the flag. And it doesn't take much, you know, felt holds super well. And if it wasn't for the little strings, you could just put it on with your seal. So now I got that, and then we have one more cloud. Put that there. So this would be a really fun, if you have a friend who teaches, you know, kindergarten or preschool or an elementary. It's a really fun, or a Sunday school teacher. It reminds me of the felt boards where we used to have Bible stories. So we're done with that, and I'll put the lid back on in a second. So now we have our 3 fences, and I did 3 because there was 3 panels. And the fence to me, when I was doing a camp card, was more important than having my sheep popped up, because they look just as good flat. So now to make this card, you need to fold it here, and then fold this back here, and I'm gonna go to Seal Plus, and I'm just gonna grab another card that's standard size. Oops. On my other one, I let it sit for a while longer before I messed with it. I might have to glue that back on. So go ahead and lay this on here, and then you're gonna slide this in between, and see, now it'll be the right card size. This is probably gonna fall off again. I'm just gonna leave it till I'm done. So lift this up, and then put Seal Plus on the end of this one. It's got some felt stuck in it now. And then close that back up. Then flip the card over, because now it's not going to go anywhere. And then you want to make sure you glue this part, not this part. That's why we're using Seal Plus. Because see, you want it to be glued right here. So now it is standard width of a card, but it has this really fun pop-up. Just need to add my balloon back. Give it a little bit more glue. It does soak in. Felt has that 70s craft quality to it, but it makes this card be fun and retro. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so here it is. You can see my 2 clouds. that way. And then you just need to add your fences. And for those, you can use regular seal. I'll put that back on in a second. Seal Plus. I'm going to use regular seal just because it's a little bit easier to work with. So you can see the fence has 2 ends and 2 joining spots. You just want to make sure your ends are on the sides of the card. So over here, and it kind of just fits inside. If it goes on top of that, that's okay because this part's not popping up. And I've got these over here. And again, the end of the fence, I want to go out to the card. I didn't worry about my fence being even because I wanted it to look like it was on each panel. And then this one here, it doesn't matter which way you put those. This one cannot go on this piece because this is a pop-up piece, so it needs to go underneath it. You pull it down a little bit more so you can see it better. Now you can see why you need to put lots of grass, because if you don't put enough grass when you put these on, it covers it all up. So here we go. I'm going to be careful so my balloon, all the rest of them stayed really well. So here it is. That is with blending brushes. So then if you want to do it with your blends, it's a very similar look. This is, I think, has a little bit more cartoon feel to it because it just feels colored. But you can see how I did it. I just put them on there, the colors, and then I just swirled around with my color lifter. So they're both equally cute. This one is most certainly faster. So it depends on who you're giving it to, whether or not you want to take the time to do that. But I can show you how this one folds because that's now nice and stuck on there. So there you go. So if you like this, the stamps are free with a $50 purchase. The dies are free with a $50 purchase. So if you don't have a die cut machine, now's a perfect time to get one, because when you get your die cut machine, you get both of these things for free and a little bit more if you bump it up just a tad bit more. So there you go. Catch me back here later. I have one more sample in my Sale-a-bration series before we move on to something else. So have a great day. Bye.